31-7. Can the Packers go through this season perfect? Can they do it?
If their defense plays like this every week, they can.
If they play rookie quarterback every week.
Yeah, they play.
I'm not just saying in this game, though. I mean, the Packers look to me better than they were last year. I know their defense is giving up more deep plays, big plays. But I'm not sure anybody can keep up with their offense.
If you outscore the other team, you win every week.
I don't know what the rest of their schedule is. I'm sure they've got the Bears. Have they
got
even
a
played the
decent
Bears
schedule.
at all this year?
They got Detroit on Thanksgiving, at Detroit. They've got.
That'll be a hell of a game.
That'll be fun. Yeah, that'll actually be a fun game for once.
Yeah, for Detroit. Yeah.
Detroit was about to lose that game, and now I think
although with their
they're
reeling. They are reeling.
They're going the wrong way.
But you got that game. I think they play Chicago again. I think maybe the last game of the year. I want to say again that.
But that'll be one of those situations like Indianapolis was in.
Yeah.
Are you playing your starters just to have that perfect record?
Well, to me too. If you get anywhere close, you have to go for it. I think that's the one thing I'll say about Indianapolis. I just can't believe that. It's more important. Stop. Come on. You got a chance at history.
Even if you don't win the Super Bowl that year, there's something to be said about going undefeated in the regular season.
And let's face it too. If Peyton wanted it, he'd go to.
Oh yeah.
That would have been the case.
Mm-hmm.
But then the flip side of that is Patriots losing Wes Welker in the last game.
The game here, right?
Yeah, here.
Yeah,
But
the
that's
grass
football.
monster. It might be football. You just lost Wes Welker for the playoffs. And it was kind of a weird game because
Wes Welker,
kind of,
from what I remember, doesn't play run defense after they played Baltimore that next game too. No, but I mean, it is. There's risk to it all, and like I said, I just think at that point you have to go for it, and it's been crazy too. If you think of, I mean, how many times has there been 14 teams?
Mm-hmm.
Not many, and we've had 2 of them in like the last 5 years.
Well, and with the size of the rosters, if you're sitting your quarterback, you also run the risk of somebody who's not as familiar with the offense getting people hurt because they're throwing the ball, not quite as on point as the people before you.
The weird thing in that game, and I think maybe you were just getting to this, was Belichick put in his first team to start the game, pulled them out, and then put them back in.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I think is when did Welker get hurt early or
early in the game?
It was early.
Was it early?
In the game.
Because Tom Brady came back after he got hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of a recipe for an injury than anything.
Once
Because
you
when
guys
you
are
pull
pulled out,
somebody, just mentally, you're kind
Like,
of just
hey,
out of it.
let me
your
take my
body-
tape off.
Right. I mean, even if the coach tells you keep your tape on, stay warm, just subconsciously you just get yourself out of that game mode.
So I'm looking at our crack research staff. Thanks again to them. The Packers' schedule includes the road games. You mentioned Detroit. They're at Detroit. They're at the Giants. That's another tough game.
They got Tampa next.
And they have an away game at Kansas City. The home games, they're going to be favored heavily in all these. Tampa, Chicago, Oakland, and then home against Detroit. I mean, they're at least
Chicago on Christmas Day.
That's sweet.
yeah.
And
in
Oakland, Carson
Green Bay.
Palmer, it seems like he's getting more comfortable every week.
Yeah.
So it's going
The
to be tough
Oakland
to
game
go
will be
undefeated.
interesting. The Oakland, because Oakland's got one of those matchups that I think it's tough. That'll be tough for them. They got a big physical front that can get after the pass, especially up the middle. Wimbley can do his thing on the outside sometimes, and they have athleticism. They have the athleticism to stay with them. And if they have McFadden back and they have Bush back, they can run the ball on
They
each
can play
clock.
keep away.
They can play some keep away with them. So I think that could be a tough game. It's at Lambeau though.
What about the
Oakland's
Giants?
one of those
The
teams, though.
Giants,
It's like you can never fully buy into it. Though. You're like, they got the guys, but then they just do something some week. You're like, they let Tebow run 300 yards on them. You're like, jeez.
Look back at. I was looking back at like their penalty statistics. They're always at the bottom of the league with penalties.
Always.
I was like, what is it with black and silver? Does that make you make a penalty?
Make you
I mean,
angry.
They take pride in that, I think. They want to lead the league in something.
how?
The Giants, though, are a team that seem to raise their game to the level of their competition. That Packers at Giants game in December, or it's either late November or early December. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Well, and they're not afraid to run the ball. I mean, if you look at Eli's numbers over the years, they're not huge passing numbers, but they don't want to have huge passing numbers for the Giants. They want to run the ball. And, you know, I'm thinking that the only way that you beat the Packers is the way that you beat the Colts, which is you keep the quarterback off the field, and then you cause enough mischief on defense to make it a game.
Which the Giants can do with their pass rush.
Which they can
certainly.
do.